Right. So, good evening, everyone. Uh, with this class, we would be starting with the GS geography part, right, of your GS foundation course. Right. I would have a very basic assumption here, which would be that many of you must have already seen the how to prepare, GS geography part of the video that's already uploaded on the YouTube. Okay, and because you have been attending classes since the last week, so you do have some idea of how these online classes go on. So if and when I ask you some questions, I would expect those answers. So I would say, please answer, okay? And whenever I ask you to answer, I would expect you to give me an answer. But presently, at least because these are the beginning classes, so I wouldn't be asking you too many questions to begin with. Gradually, we would, maybe add up some more questions. Okay, because in today's class, it's more of an introduction class for you. So we would talk about what all part is there in your GS geography that we need to cover, all right? And we would try to integrate it with the whole, syllabus which is there. So we'll try to understand the syllabus and your NCERT books, etc., and how you proceed with them. Okay, so that's the first part. So basically, if I put down on board how we would go about in today's class, right? The first part of the class would focus more so around the geography intro to you, introduction, right? So we'll have a geography introduction here. That's the first thing that we'll try to do, okay? And after that geography introduction, once we are done, once we understand the different parts of geography which are there, though I have already talked about them in the how to prepare video, but I'll still do a brief thing here. Okay, that's the first thing. Once we do this, we'll also talk about the sources briefly, and then I'll take you deeper into the sources. So which are the sources that you are supposed to refer from this class onwards? Okay, so we'll talk of that. Okay, and we'll see the syllabus also. So once we talk of the introduction, we see the syllabus, etc. there. Then we talk of the sources, and then the sequence of the class. Sequence, right? What would be the topic sequence, right? So what would be the topic sequence? That also we'll try to see what kind of topic sequence would we try to follow, and then after that we'll directly come to, topics of the day. Excuse me. Topics of the day. So when we talk of topics of the day, we would start with a bit from universe to earth. That's the first thing. Excuse me. And once we are on earth there, so this is basically the flow, right, from universe to earth. So we'll see how much of this we can cover today, and then we'll go on, right? In my classes that I'll be conducting, I wouldn't assume that you people know geography, right? And I would not also assume that you have read your NCERTs. Okay, that's the first part. So I would not assume that you know, because most of you don't have geography as your background, right? And I also did not had geography as my background when I started preparing for UPSC, right? I'm an engineer by education. I was working in that field. So when I started preparing for UPSC, I didn't have much background in geography. Okay, but so with the same assumption we'll go. So I can understand where most of you stand. Okay, and but having said this, the next thing is I would expect you to at least read what I tell you to, okay, for every class. So in every class, at least in the beginning few classes, 10-15 classes, I'll go on telling you what are the sections that I would expect you to read for the next class. And I would expect you to read that, right? So this is how we'll conduct. The code of conduct for the class is no assumptions from my side, one. So I'll try to explain every word, every technical term that I would try to say. At times I might miss. Now, whenever I miss, those would be the terms which are already there in the section that I have already told you to read. So every day, for example, for tomorrow's class, I'll tell you the sections that you are supposed to read, and I would expect that you read them and underline those words at least, the terms which are technical. So at least write them and maybe write them in your copy. So when I say those words, even if I do not dictate the meaning of those words or the definition of those words, those definitions are the ones which are given in your NCERT. Okay. So I would expect you to slightly have that background, and anything technical I will not leave, don't worry, right? My approach to class is concepts. I focus on concepts in geography. I do not focus too much on facts in geography, because facts you can always pick from your NCERT, but concepts, many times people find it very difficult to understand the concepts from the books. Okay. So in my class, my focus would always be to explain the concept. Okay. Terms, facts, I would expect you to slightly pick from your NCERTs, right? And any term which would be slightly technical also, I would try to explain it in the class. Okay. So, depending on memory is not what I do, because I myself consider that, I don't have a very great memory to remember facts. Okay. So concepts, but concepts are such that once you understand them, you don't have to recall. Right? You don't have to recall a concept, because once you understand it, that's it. So you can explain it to anybody, right? Same way. So this is what we are going to do in these classes in terms of the approach to the class. It will be completely conceptual, okay? And I would expect you to read the NCERTs or the books that I would tell you. Whether you understand them fully or not, that's a different thing, but at least read them. Okay, once you have read them, you will realize, okay, this much I could understand on my own. And then once you attend the class, you will understand, oh, this much more I understood from the class. So that will also give you the difference between how much you on your own can understand from the books and how much more did you add up from the class. Right? So that will be some kind of a way to measure, okay, am I gaining something from the class, right? So this is one. And then UPSC questions, we'll try to see them in the class. I would expect you also to see the questions from those sections. Right, UPSC questions. I'll tell you where do you get them and all in a moment's time. Okay, so this is the basic idea about the class. This is how we'll proceed in the class. Okay, so I hope most of you are ready to go. Right, so let us start. Okay, now the geography introduction part. So I'll cut that whole thing. The ones who want slightly more detailed introduction to the geography, please watch the YouTube video, I think uploaded last month by Vision IAS, about how to prepare for UPSC. Okay, how to prepare for UPSC 2020, 2 batch that you people are in. So how do you prepare for that? Okay, there's a video for that. Please watch that. It's a detailed video around 40-45 minutes. So I'll cut down that part, some part of it. And wherever I need to expand, I will try to expand. Okay. But before I take you to that thing, there's something more also that I would like to show you, which is the syllabus, because our whole approach should be syllabus centric. Once you see the syllabus, then you try to understand, okay, this is what is given in the syllabus, and because you are preparing for UPSC, so let us focus too much from the perspective of the exam and the syllabus. Okay. So let us first try to read what our syllabus says. Okay. So what does the syllabus say here? Please, right? Now, when you see the syllabus, you find the syllabus of UPSC exam, geography, ecology, environment is also given here, and disaster management also, because they are related, but I won't be, to begin with, in our classes, geography classes, we will not talk of ecology, environment, neither disaster management. We will focus only on geography, but they are slightly related. So that's why I have put the syllabus together. So when you see the syllabus for this, the preliminary syllabus, preliminary exam syllabus of UPSC says, for geography says Indian and world geography, physical, social, economic geography of India and the world, which means that one of them is the physical geography, the other one social and economic geography, which is basically put together also called as human geography. So one is physical geography, the other is human geography, right? So when you talk of whole of geography, geography for UPSC is divided into what all? It is divided broadly into, so when we talk of introduction, let us write from here itself. Geography is divided into, as per the syllabus itself, it is divided into physical and human geography. And the human geography they have explained further, because human geography includes lot many other things also. Okay, it also includes cultural geography, there are more things, right? Theory of geography, all that. So in your syllabus, it only says two parts. One is social, the other is, what does it say? Social and economic. So human geography is divided into social and economic geography. Social and economic. Okay, these two parts it is divided into. And another one is physical geography. So this is your syllabus saying. And then what does it say further? Right? What does it say further? In addition to physical and this human geography thing, it further says geography of what? Of India. It wants you to focus on physical geography of India and human geography of India and the world. So two regions, region A, India, and region B, the world. Okay. So basically focus on social geography and economic geography of India. So maybe we can say it wants you to focus on India and world. So here I'll write world and here I'll write India. I'm writing India later than world because India is part, it is within the world, so we just put it this way. Okay. This is what it is saying. Right? And then, does the syllabus say anything else? Does the syllabus say anything else? No, that's it. That's the only line. India and world geography, which means physical, social, physical and human geography of India and the world, and that's it. So it basically gives you this broad framework. If you just see the syllabus of the prelims exam syllabus gives you prelims syllabus. It just gives you this broad framework. Okay, it doesn't take you beyond this. How do we go beyond this? How do I know there is something beyond this or not? For going beyond, we will now come to the next part. What is the next part? Please come here and see. Right, because I want you to be very focused. Right. Let's not start with geography and then come to the syllabus. Let us start directly with the syllabus, and from there itself let us pick what we, how do we proceed. So what else is there in your this whole geography thing? Go to the main syllabus. The main syllabus tells you more things about geography. Okay, what all does the main syllabus say? See here. And when I say main syllabus, the main syllabus is divided into parts. I'll take you the paper 1 main syllabus first, and then we'll go to the other part later on. Okay, so this is the first part, the paper 1 part of the main syllabus. Just allow me a moment. Okay, so what does the main syllabus tell us? The main syllabus, if you see, says salient features of world physical geography. So that implies that when you talk of this world geography section, okay, this world geography section, let us say this is the world geography section, and let us say this is the India geography section. Okay, divided into one part physical and the other human, and the human is further divided into social and economic, just to understand and organize. So, what does it say? Salient features of world physical geography. So, in this, it wants you to focus on salient features. What are the salient? What is the meaning of the word salient and features? Features means what? Features means any of the things which are prominently you can see and distinguish, right? Something I say, it is actually a feature of this region. Okay. So, something that you can see distinctly, something which you can say, oh, this and this and this, something like this. So, these, let's say if you can point out three things, these are the three features. Okay. For example, when you take any product, when you take a mobile, so you ask, okay, what are the features of this mobile? So, they will say, sir, in this mobile you have this facility and this facility and this facility. So, basically you have three facilities, same ways. So, there are three distinct features. So, salient physical features of the earth means, when you say on the earth, physical earth means, what do I mean when I say physical? It means what all I can physically feel and see and sense. So, on the earth, what are the things that you can, physical, what are the things that you can see and feel and sense? You can say there is land is one thing, and water, that's the second thing, and third is the air. These are the three things that you can feel, see and, थोड़ा सा zoom करते रहेगा अपने आप ही, हाँ, जहां पे भी छोटा writing है आप खुद zoom कर लीजिए. Okay, so physical means land, water and air. Do we get it? Is this clear? Right? So, when I say physical, it means land, water and air. So, you are basically talking about these areas, and when you say water, water can further be oceans and rivers, etc. Oceans, rivers, lakes, whatever, the whole water cycle. Air means atmosphere. When I talk of air, it would broadly means atmosphere, and I'm speaking as I write, because on this board there is a limitation that I can't zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so that's okay, but I'm reading well, so all of you can write. So this physical, land, water and air, and in water we can have oceans and rivers, etc., and in air, when I say air, I mean atmosphere. So the physical features of these three regions, okay, these three, land, water and air, those are the salient features of the earth. For example, what are the salient features on land? Right? If I put one, land, I bring land from here and I write the salient features on the earth. Okay. If I take the whole globe, okay, for that matter, like this, okay. And if I ask you, which are the land regions that you can see on this globe? All of you. From that distance that you are seeing it and the size of the globe, you can see that there are some big land pieces, and those big land pieces we call them as continents. Okay. And then you can see that bluish region. That bluish region is basically water as you see it or as it is depicted. But when you go slightly deeper in that water, maybe a few kilometers deep, you again hit the floor. I'll repeat. Okay. So what you can see in this globe thing is the continents. For example, you can see Africa, you can see Asia, you can see Europe, you can see North America, South America, Australia. Those are continents, and then you can see some small islands also. So all that is land, okay, as you can see. So you can say continents and islands, that is one thing. Do you have any other land on the earth? There is land. Where it is? That land is basically the ocean floor. Ocean floor. Floor means the land which is below the oceans. So actually the whole of the earth's surface is having land. Okay. The difference is continent is above water or on the side of the water, right? So the lands are, it is like the side of the river where you stand. So you're standing on the land and then you have river. But actually, is there water deep inside, and does the water keep going deeper and deeper into the river? No. When you go deep, very deep into the river, you hit the land again. Right? So that is the deep river land or the river floor, right? Same ways below these oceans also you have land. That is what we call as the sea floor or the ocean floor. Okay. So if I have to write the big land features on the earth, which are the big land features on the earth, if we have to mention, we can say continents, ocean floor, not the surface. I'm talking of ocean floors, continents, ocean floors, islands, right? Islands. These are the big land features that you have. And then when you get in the continent, and then when you try to look on the continent, for example, how would you look at the continent? See here on the board itself. So, for example, most of you can see on the board, I'm using an online atlas, Eschanth online atlas available on Amazon.in, which you can use on the Kindle app, right? Kindle app is also freely available to be downloaded on Amazon. So if you buy any online Kindle edition book from Amazon, you can download the Kindle and you can, watch this map. Eschanth's map is available. Over a period, I'll tell you which books and all. I'll come to that. Right. First, let me just introduce you to the syllabus. After that, we'll talk of the books, etc. Okay. So, what do you find? Suppose this is one continent, as you can see. So, when you get on the continent, you can see there are many things written. Right. For example, right. I'll just zoom and try to show you. For example, when you zoom on this part of the continent, you can see there is a plateau written here, right? And there you have mountains, right? Can you see the Great Himalayas? That's a mountain. Most of us know this, right? And then when you see here, you can see a plain written here, the plain of Ganga. So you have plateau, mountains, plains. At one place itself, in one place, one known place, a place which is known to us, that's where we are able to see this. Plateau, mountains, plains. So when you go on the continent, you get to see what? Right? If I write here, on the continents, what do I see? On the continents, I see mountains, plateaus, plains. These are all features of the continent. The continent itself is a feature. Right? The continent itself is a feature, and on the continent there are more features. Right? For example, you are a feature of your family, and on your body itself there are many features. And when I take any one part of the body, for example, nose, on your nose itself you will have many other features. Or eyes, so in the eyes there will be many other parts. Right? Same ways, when you see the whole earth, so earth has physical features. Right? Which are the three main physical, when I say physical features, what does it mean? It means land, water and atmosphere. When you get into these physical features, for example, when you get into the land, you get two more physical features of land, the continents, one, and the ocean floors. Now, when you get into when you try to look more detailed on the continent, then you find mountains, plains, plateaus. All these are salient features. This is what we mean by salient features. I'm just getting you an idea of the syllabus. How do you crack the syllabus? How do you decipher? How do you try to understand the syllabus? Because the syllabus itself in one line doesn't tell you much. Okay, but it says salient features of world physical geography. Okay. So one is this about the continents. Same ways, when you look on the ocean floor, again you will find many things. Ocean floors also. If you ever get to see the image of the ocean floor, right, or the way we have done the studies and try to make out what all is there on the ocean floor, there also you will find many things. Okay, so those are the salient features of the ocean floor land, right? So these are the things that you have to understand. These are the salient features that you have to understand with respect to land. Second, when you see the second salient feature on the earth, you will find atmosphere. Now on the atmosphere, in the atmosphere, do I see some salient features? Yes, in the atmosphere also you see many salient features. How? All you have to do is just walk out of your room or your house. Okay, once you walk out of your house or your room, you see the salient features of the atmosphere. For example, if you just walk out right now, you will see that it is, and because right now people from across the country are attending this class, and I can also say some students from outside India are also attending the class, maybe located in different places, working, or their parents are there and they are preparing for UPSC. We do have that kind of mix since I've been associated with Vision for almost now, since 2009. So every batch, every class, every time we have students who are attending from India and students who are attending from outside India, right? So that's fine. So I wouldn't assume that it is evening everywhere for all of you. Okay, but when you walk out, you can see maybe it is day or night or whatever. And second is you have cloudy weather in some parts, right? Some places you have winter, some places you have summer. All these are the phenomena of your atmospheric phenomena. Okay, so cloud, rain, sunlight, sunshine, haze, fog, whatever you say. Okay, all these are atmospheric phenomena. Some places it is windy, some places it is not windy, right? Some places are dry, some places are wet. At some places you might have clouds, rains, as I said. Okay, so you can say in atmosphere, which are the phenomena? Within atmosphere, you will have phenomena such as winds, okay, clouds, right? And some places, you might have heard of other phenomena such as cyclones, etc. So I can write cyclone. Even that is a phenomena of the atmosphere. Okay, which we get to see. So these are the phenomena, salient features. These are like the salient, and not only these, there are many, right? So just an introduction. Then the third one, which is the third one, the water bodies. Water bodies, the salient features of water bodies. Which are the salient water bodies? The biggest ones are the oceans. Oceans, the ocean water. And now I'm not talking of the ocean floor. Now I'm talking of the ocean water. Okay, so ocean water, and then you have rivers and lakes. So you have some big lakes and you have some big rivers. Okay, and then you try to get deeper into them. So this is basically the first line of your syllabus, right? Because your syllabus tells you what all to read. So this first line is deciphered here. Which line? Salient features of the world physical geography. This one line we have understood, right? Because the main syllabus basically, and the main syllabus tells you only what is there in your prelims. Prelim syllabus, they have just given you the framework. The main syllabus fills that framework for you. Okay, that's it. So this is how we go. Then what is the next thing? The next thing that we try to understand after this world physical geography, distribution of key natural resources across the world, right? You can see that, you can read that on the syllabus, distribution of, I'll just wind up that atlas for the time being and focus on this. Distribution of key natural resources across the world, including South Asia and the Indian subcontinent. This is one thing that it says. Then factors responsible for location, etc. Now, before I take you there, I'll bring you to this fourth point, right? I'll take you there in a moment, but before that, I will bring you here. Please see here. Okay. What does it say? Important geophysical, again, geographical, physical phenomena such as, which geophysical phenomena such as earthquakes. Now, where does earthquake take place? Land, yes or no? Or in the ocean floor? We know. Then tsunami. Where does the tsunami take place? Tsunami takes place in the ocean water, but it is affected by the movement in the ocean floor, right? Deep ocean floor land moves, because of that tsunamis are created, right? Or other causes, so we'll see, right? Tsunamis. Volcanic activity. Where does volcanic activity take place? On the land. For example, in the mountains or plateaus or plains, you have the volcanic activities taking place, volcanoes coming out. So I hope you can match, right? I hope you can match with what your salient. These are the salient features. They are getting deeper into them. Okay. So important geophysical phenomena. Phenomena means activities. Which are the kind of activities which are taking place? So phenomena, a feature is something which can either be something which can physically be seen, or it is an activity. Whereas when you say a phenomena is something which is an activity. Okay, so this is an activity. Earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic activity, cyclone. Cyclone is a phenomena of the atmosphere. Yes or no? So we saw the phenomena of the land, earthquakes, volcanoes. We saw the phenomena of the ocean. We see the phenomena of the atmosphere. Can you see? So this part also, I hope I can tick that. We understand this also. So this second part of your syllabus is also associated with what? This thing. You have to get deeper into it, okay, to understand. Then, what does the further? What does it say further when you go beyond this? When you go beyond this, you find geographical features and their location. Just read further in the same point. Cyclones, etc. Then what does it say? Geographical features and their location. Right? So geographical features. Where do you find those features and their location? Where are they located? For example, where are the mountains located? Okay. Where are the earthquakes located? Where do the earthquakes take place? Where are the volcanoes located? Where do volcanoes take place? Right? In general, where do cyclones take place? Right? So all these, so we don't have to only understand the phenomena, we don't only have to understand what it is, we also have to understand where it is. Because geography is about these two things. Right? And I'll write that on the top. Geography is about what, but more importantly, where. Right? Where. What is the concept? And where is the fact? Right? There is nothing which is not taking place anywhere and still it is in geography. No. Geography doesn't have these hypothetical, theoretical, scholarly discourses which actually practically do not have any value. In geography, whatever we read is something that is taking place somewhere. Okay, and if it is not taking place somewhere, then you don't read it. You don't have to spend time. Keep this in mind. This is the most important thing I can tell you about geography. Because many times you people, in the class, many people ask questions, sir, what will happen if? In geography, what will happen if doesn't have much space. Okay, in geography, what has space? Sir, this is happening here. Why? Do you get it? So first you have to see what is happening where, and then you have to ask why. It's not like, sir, if this will happen, then what? If that will happen, then what? No. It's not like those reactions as that if I mix hydrogen with, something, uranium, for example, right? Then what will happen? If it is mixing, then you ask, otherwise no. This is the most important thing. So if it is not taking place anywhere, not relevant in geography. Hopefully, most of you get this. Okay. So, geographical features and their location. Where are they taking place? Next, changes in critical geographical features. Critical geographical features. Now, when I say critical, what is critical on the earth? Critical means something which is game changer. Yes or no? Something which is very game changing kind. So many times we say we are in a critical situation. What does that mean? We are in a game changing situation. We either go this way or we go that way. So on the earth, what is the thing which is the game changer for the earth? What is the most important game changer for the earth? When you see those game changers on the earth, or the most critical thing on the earth, critical thing on earth, water in a liquid form. Water in a liquid form is one very critical thing that the earth has, and we have still not been able to locate it elsewhere in that form, right? And water in liquid form means water in 0 to 100 degrees Celsius range. That means temperature also. So when you say water in liquid form, it simply also means a temperature range also, right? Because then if the temperature range is not there and the pressure is not there, then you will get. So when you are saying water in liquid form, you are saying lot many things. You are saying water as liquid and you are talking of temperature also, okay? Because water is liquid only between 0 to 100 degree Celsius temperature, and you are talking of a pressure also, right? Normal atmospheric pressure, all this. So water is critical on earth. So please see, location changes in critical geographical features such as water bodies and ice caps. These two things are very critical on the earth because they are the reason of us being around, right? Life is there on the earth because of water. If water was not there on earth, life wouldn't have been possible the way we are, right? Don't say sir microbes हो सकते थे. I'm not talking of microbes. Microbes UPSC का तैयारी नहीं कर सकते थे. Okay, so the way okay, I'll repeat also. So I'm saying don't say that microbes are there, sir, so why are you saying? What I said was that microbes wouldn't have been preparing for UPSC, isn't it? So all I intend to say here is that without water, life as we are, we as in human beings, won't have been possible on the earth without water. So water is critical at least to human beings and such beings, right? And hence it is critical. So water bodies and ice caps and critical geographical features, changes in the critical geographical features such as water bodies and flora fauna. Why flora fauna? Flora means all the animals and all this, right? All the plants, and fauna is all the animals. So all the plants and all the animals because they give us the surrounding in which we live. Okay, the flora fauna gives us the surrounding in which we live. Okay, so this is this part of the syllabus where we are talking of the what you can say geographical features. Now let us come to this part. Okay, now does it include India? Does the syllabus include India? India is included as being part of India physical. India physical, that is included as being part of world. So everything related to land, atmosphere and water bodies with respect to India is also your syllabus. Simple. Why? Because the syllabus says world, and obviously India and the world, because in the beginning it said physical geography of India and the world. So your prelims includes India and world physical geography. So we'll just have to copy all this. All the land related things, island related things. Mic change? बंद है? Now is it okay? The mic? अभी चालू है mic? अभी चालू है? Right. So, all I said in the last 1 minute where probably there was a mic problem was that the physical geography aspects of the world are also there in India, and hence we have to do that India part also. Why? Because your syllabus in the very first line, prelim syllabus, it says the geography of India and the world, physical and social and economic geography of India and the world. So, just copy all that. Now, next after that, what do we come? Where do we come? Once we talk of this physical geography, the physical geography basically gives you, as I generally draw this, the water bodies, right? Water bodies, land, and the atmosphere, right? But not in the whole of the atmosphere, nor in the whole of the water body, nor in the whole of the land you find, or inside the land you find life. You find life up to a certain point. Okay, for example, when you see the water bodies and the land, right? Water bodies and the land, where they mix, you do find some life. Where the water bodies and the atmosphere and the land mix, there also you find some life. Okay, life का color थोड़ा change कर देते हैं, ऐसा. And where the land and the atmosphere meet, there also you find some life. Where the water bodies and the atmosphere meet, there also you find some life. Okay, so wherever they interact, you find some life in those regions. Okay, so basically the regions where you find life, all this region, where you find life, this region you call as biosphere. The region where we find life on earth, we call that region as the biosphere. Right? The bio means life. The word bio comes from life. So, biosphere, the sphere of life. Okay? And where does the sphere of life extend? If I see, for example, if you see the land like this, okay, and let us say this is the ocean floor, ocean, and this is the ocean floor. This is what? Ocean floor. Okay, and this is the continent. Continent. And let us say above this is your atmosphere. Atmosphere. And let us say this is space. You have gone beyond. Okay. Now, in this region, right, and you can go on going down and down, and you are going into the interior of the earth. This is what? Interior of the earth. Interior of earth. You are going toward the center of the earth. So up to what region do you think we find life? Do you find life just up to the edge of the space? Generally no. The answer is generally no. You do find some birds flying up to a height of a few kilometers, right? 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers, that's the range. Okay. So when you see the atmosphere, you'll find that in the atmosphere, bigger life forms such as birds, etc., are found only up to a height of, let us say 15 kilometers. From the surface of the earth up to maybe 15 kilometers maximum. That's it. Some birds, but you don't generally find anything going beyond that. Okay, so that's the maximum. 10, 15 kilometers, 11 kilometers, 12 kilometers, 15 kilometers. That is the maximum range up to which you find life above the earth's surface. Okay, that's the maximum range. We generally never find life going above that. Okay, and when you go down, when you come to the continent, on the land, up to what depth do you think we have found life on the land? The microbes also, the general microbes, we have found the microbes up to a depth of, let's say, 5 kilometers. We have dug at places, and on the earth's surface, land, when you go deeper and deeper and deeper, first you find some animals, below the ground, and then when you go deeper you find some insects, and when you go much deeper you find some microbes, but that's it. And the microbial activity is not found generally below 5 kilometers, right? That's the maximum. So 5 kilometers above the 15 kilometers, 10-15 kilometers above the continent and 5 kilometers below the continent. And when you go into the oceans, you find fishes up to maybe 9 kilometers or 10 kilometers. In the deepest parts of the ocean, trenches such as Mariana Trench and all, the deepest parts of the ocean. Normally the ocean is not up to 10 kilometers. Normally the ocean is 4 to 5 kilometers, 4, 5, 6 kilometers. That is the normal depth of the ocean. Average depth of the ocean. How much? 5, 6 kilometers. Right? Approximately that. So 3 to 6 is given in your NCERT. When you take average, it is 4.5. Average depth of the ocean is 4.5 kilometers, dot, if you want a dot value. But what is the depth up to which? Is there deeper points in the ocean? Yes. Some places are much deeper, right? Some places in the ocean are much deeper than the average, right? So when we try to find what is the deepest in the ocean that some big life forms are found, such as fishes, etc., we have seen that life forms are found up to almost nearly 9 kilometers in the ocean, the deepest parts of the ocean, right? For example, as a child, you might have heard of the name Mariana Trench. Can I say most of you have heard Mariana Trench? So Mariana Trench is considered as the deepest trench in the world, deepest parts in the ocean. Okay, and in that there is a deepest point also called as the Challenger Deep Point, which is around 11 kilometers from the sea surface. Right, so from the sea surface, top of the ocean, the Challenger Deep is 11 kilometers deep. That's the deepest that you go in the ocean. So fishes are found up to around 8-9 kilometers in the ocean. Okay, and some fishes are found, or some microbial activity and other activity is found in the deepest points of Challenger Deep also. Okay, so this is normally 9 kilometers you find, and when you go deeper and deeper you will find some microbes also. Below the deepest point also you might find. So you can say from the ocean surface, on the safest side you can say up to maybe 12-13 kilometers, that's the range. So now if I have to conclude and say that from the continental plane surface, up to where do you find life? You find it up to around 15 kilometers above, and you find it up to, let us say, just round at 13 to 15, so 15 kilometers below. Okay, so on the earth, where do you actually find life? On the earth also you find life only within a region. From the land, you go higher, maximum up to 15, you find some life forms, the extreme life forms, which in some cases go there. And when you go deeper into the ground, you go not deeper than 15 kilometers on the earth anywhere, and you find life. Okay, now why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because when you see the whole earth, if this is the earth surface, earth's land surface, how deep is the earth, or what is the depth of the earth center? It is around 6,400 kilometers. The radius of the earth is around 6,400 kilometers. Okay, and what is the atmosphere's highest point? When you see the atmosphere of the earth, okay, how high is the atmosphere? Atmosphere goes to around 3,500 kilometers, right? 3,500 kilometers. That is the Earth's surface range, right? Atmosphere goes as high as 3,500 kilometers, and the Earth's center goes as deep as 6,400 kilometers. But where do you find all the life forms? You find the life forms in a very narrow belt on the earth, a very narrow region on the earth, okay, which is just 15 kilometers from the surface downwards and upwards, both sides. All the life on the earth is found somewhere here, that shaded region. All the life on the earth is there. That's the biosphere. Right? So, when you talk of the whole earth, only this much region is the biosphere. Or the thickness, 15 kilometers above the land, 15 kilometers below the land. On an average, that's it, maximum. Right? And I'm not talking of extreme microbes still, but that is the range, just to let you know. Right? So, this is where you have the biosphere. And in the biosphere, right, what all do you have? In the biosphere, which is your life form, you have the plants and the animals. This plants is what you call as flora, and the animals are what you call as fauna. And then you also have some microbes, right? The microbial activity, I'm not talking of microbes here, but they actually add up for more than the total plants and animals on the earth. Okay, even the biomass, if you see, the microbial biomass is more than the plant and animal biomass. Biomass means total mass, total weight or total mass of all the plants and animals. The total mass of all the microbes is more than that. Okay, but anyways, come back. So, this thing. Do we get it? Right? Do you understand this biosphere? Where is the biosphere? This is the biosphere on the earth. Hopefully, we understand this. Right? That's why I drew, to make you understand that from the surface you can go 15 kilometers up, and from the surface you can, on the land you can go 5 kilometers down, in the oceans you can go 9 plus another few, so let us say round off to 15. Just to get you an idea of the biosphere. Okay? Good. So, can I assume that we understand this part of the syllabus? The flora and fauna part also. And when you talk of this biosphere, this is where your ecology, environment and biodiversity comes in. That part of the syllabus. The prelims, what you call as ecology, environment. So, this is where ecology, environment and biodiversity comes in. This is so important a part that it has been separated in your UPSC syllabus itself. Okay, UPSC has separated this part of the syllabus and made it a separate thing in your whole syllabus. It is so important, the biosphere. Okay, and what do they call that part of the syllabus? They call it as, you can see on the board, ecology, biodiversity, climate change, etc. So, environmental, ecology, biodiversity and climate change. Climate is something related to atmosphere. We will talk of that. So, now this is another part. This is what you call as ecology, environment. So, when you hear toppers or when you start preparing for UPSC, you come to know you have geography and you have ecology, environment. This is ecology, environment. This part. Okay. So, separately, covered separately. This is very important. Now, when you go deeper into these animals, okay, now let me rub this out, this part, because I won't be covering it broadly for you. Okay. When you get deeper into the animal, you come to, or when you bifurcate this human part of the story, this is where you come to humans. And the moment you come to humans from ecology, environment, so from physical geography, you try to learn about land, water and atmosphere. This is physical geography. Physical geography. After that, you try to learn about biodiversity. So, ecology, environment, biodiversity. Right? And then you come to human. Once you come to human, that's where the second part of the syllabus starts. The human geography part of the syllabus. Okay. So, this is where human geography starts, the next part of the syllabus. Okay? Here, human geography part of the syllabus, right? So, when you try to learn, can I expect we understand this? So can I rub this? The thing that I don't know, can I clear them? Right, leaving only the things that I need. So can I assume we understand everything that I needed you to? The biosphere shown here, 15 kilometers from above, 15 kilometers below. That's it. That's the biosphere. Allow me to rub this also, and so that we can keep the board clean. So physical geography, hopefully understood. In that, the biosphere, ecology, environment, that was the second part. Ecology, environment, and biodiversity, that was the second part. Okay, and hopefully you understand. So this also rub and remove, because I don't need it for geography part. And when you go from these animals up to human beings, right, after doing the biology and ecology, environment, now you are in the second part of geography. Okay, so in human geography, right? So when you come to human geography, right, what do you think human geography would include? Biosphere, biology, you do all this and then you come to humans. And in human geography, what will we include? First, we'll include the population of human beings. Where all, how many human beings are there? On the earth, in India, because we are talking of India's human geography and world human geography. So we'll talk of population of the world and the population of India. Okay. So where on earth do you find most of the population? This is important to understand. Right? So if I ask you, for example, if I show you a diagram and ask you, where do you think most of the people on the earth live? Okay, let me this. Okay. Okay, let me just take any one world map. For example, if I take this world map and if I ask you, where do you think in this world map, let me take US, simple sa world map I'm looking for so that I can, maybe this can be taken. On this world map, if I ask you, where do you think most of the people on the earth live? Are they uniformly distributed everywhere? Population geography, for example, understanding the population, where all human beings are there. Where do you think human beings, most of the human beings are there? तो सा light कर दी है. Camera से कर सकते हैं? Right. So if I ask you, where do you think most of the people on this, on the earth live? You would say, sir, most of the people live in Asia and all that. But if I tell you that actually most of the people on the earth, they live in very small regions. They do not cover the whole earth as such, and they do not cover the whole continents also as such. They just cover small regions. For example, when you talk of Asia, this whole thing, I can tell you that most of the people in Asia, they are found in a very narrow belt. Okay, for example, this is Japan. So you find people living in Japan. Japan is populated. You find them living in this part of Asia, where you have Korea and you have China, and on the coastal China. They do not live in the interior of China. You don't have much population densities in the interior of China. Most of the people in China, they live in the coastal area. Okay, then just go on coming towards India, and in India also, you don't find people living in Himalayas. Where do most of the people in India live? They live from Punjab up to Haryana, right, UP, right, then Bihar, West Bengal, some parts of Assam, the plains parts of Assam. You don't have very high density in Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Manipur. Okay, these regions don't have, Meghalaya, they don't have very high population densities. So most of the people in India are not living there. Same ways, they don't live too much, there isn't too much population in Rajasthan, density wise. Okay, it is a very big state, but density is not too much. Right, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, they don't have too much of densities. Then where else do you find people in India? Then you find people in India mostly in the coastal areas. Coastal areas. So if you see, this is the region, the plains from Punjab up to West Bengal and some of the plains of Assam, and then the coastal areas around India, right? Mostly, that's where you have most of the population densities. Okay, so if you see land wise, most of the people in India are living in nearly 30% of the land of the country. 70% of the land of the country, you don't have too much of people living. Okay, population density is less. Then when you come here, so I'm just showing you the major population regions of the world, just to get you a sense. Then when you come to Europe, you find them in Britain, and you find them in regions around Spain, France, Germany, okay, these regions. So see how much of the region, and then the Mediterranean Sea, around the Mediterranean Sea, you have good population density, right? In Africa, coastal Africa, you have good density. Why? Because the oceans give you a transport route, they give you, and the rivers come there. So it is easy for people to live. These are plains, these are not very difficult regions. In Africa also, you find population density is mostly here, right, in Arabian region. So this is where most of the population in the world you will find living. When you see Australia, for example, Australia is this big, but where does most of the population in Australia live? They live here, or they live some of them around Perth. That's it. Most of the remaining part of Australia doesn't have too much population. Okay. Russia, you find population here, some of the population in this Russian region from Moscow to St. Petersburg, around that. And when you come to North America, see, this is such a big continent, right, this whole thing. But in this, where do you find most of the people? They are living on the eastern coast, this region. And some of the people on the western coast. Right? These two regions are the most populated region. And then there is this region around the lakes. That's it. Right? And some of these coastal. That's it. This is the region where most of the people in America live. Okay? The coastal region. And you don't have to remember. I just want you to understand right now, because gradually these are the things that you will learn through geography. Okay? So you don't have to remember them right away. But you just have to see that, oh, I was wondering that people will be living everywhere, but it's not so. Okay? But the population is not uniform everywhere. Okay? You do find some population in Mexico and all, right? And then when you come to Brazil, very narrow regions where you find most of the population. Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, some of these regions here, Venezuela and all. And that's broadly, you can say, it. And then, yes, obviously you have populations, some of, a good population density in these islands, but not all these islands. Some of these islands, they have good population density, and that's it. These are the major population regions in the world. So this is basically population, and the second part is settlement. Where are people living? So when you talk of human geography, you have population and settlement, and that is basically what you call as social geography. Social. Population and settlement. Settled. Where are they settled? That's what we were seeing. Where are people settled? Right? So population and settlement are two parts here that you have to understand. Then apart from this, do you have something more? Yes. When you talk of the population, tribals also come within them. The tribals. Why? Because tribal people are special people. Why are they special? They are not special because, you can say reasons such as they are less in number and all that. I'm not talking of that. I'm talking from geography's perspective. From geography's perspective, tribal people are special because they are still maintaining to maximum. What? The tribal people are still maintaining to maximum the different ways in which human beings evolved. Right? The different ways in which human beings evolved. So if you want to understand how human beings evolved, where do you get to understand that? In the most, diverse way, you see those tribals. When you see the tribal population, then you will understand, oh, this is how diversely human beings have evolved. Right? For example, when you see the tribals in Africa, they would look very different and their behaviors and their, activities would be very different from the tribals in Alaska, okay, or the ones in the deserts, or the ones in the grasslands, right, or the ones in the polar region, or the ones who are in the forest, the rainforests. So you'll find differences between them. So tribal populations show the different manners in which human beings have evolved. Right? When you talk of all the non-tribal people, the so-called evolved, developed human beings like us, we have become all uniform. Okay? Our languages have become common, like English, the language in which I'm talking to you. Our dress codes have become common. Whether you are in India, a house in India or a house in US, everyone is wearing a pant and a t-shirt and a whatever. In the winters, I'm always wearing a European style or an Western style jacket. Isn't it? The kind of food that we are eating. So we have become pretty uniform. Where do you find the non-uniform type of people? The ones who are not uniform with the world? The tribals. Okay, that's why understanding the tribal part of the story is important in geography, because that tells you how in different regions people evolve differently. Right? If you have to say in one line what is the importance of understanding tribal and their lives, in one line it is how people evolved differently in different regions. This is what you learn from tribals. Why? Because people like us, the educated, literate people, we have become all uniform. All of us imitate each other and try to look and sound and act and work similarly. Okay. So, hope you get this. Now, which is the second part? This is how, so how many are there and where are they? How many and where? This is your social geography. Okay, how many and where. After that, how many and where, what is the next thing which is there in your geography? So, I'll just rub this. Okay, just rub and then take you to the next part. Now, what is left? So, population and settlement, I hope you understand, and the tribals, and the same exactly applies to India. Why? Because your syllabus said earlier, the very first line said geography of India and the world. Which geography? Physical and social and economic. Geography of India and the world. So, prelim syllabus, whatever is there in the world, the same things you have to do for India also. Why? Because India is part of the world and India is the country where you are going to administer once you get selected, isn't it? So, that's what your syllabus thing, right? So, we will try to understand population, tribals and settlements in India. We don't have to do this for world too much, thankfully, okay? But you should know slightly about the population in the world, etc., and where more people are there and where less people are there. These things you should know. Okay, it shouldn't come to you as a shock that, oh, in China there are more people and in Japan there are more people and in some parts of Africa, Saharan Africa, there are less people. Oh, I never knew this. That shouldn't happen. Okay, so this much you have to know. Okay, Then what is the next part? So once we are done with the social geography, then you come to economic geography. Okay. So economic geography of India, of the world and this thing. So let us see the syllabus now. We'll go back to the main syllabus, and the main syllabus itself will help us understand the next thing. Okay. So if I tick, can I say the physical geography part we have broadly understood in the syllabus, and the social geography part also we have understood with respect to India and the world. I won't take India and the world right now because that's how we are organizing. Okay. And I have already ticked salient features of the world physical geography and the last two important geophysical phenomena and this thing. Now we focus in the middle part. Please see this. Right? What is there in middle? So the next thing that comes into play in your syllabus, the part which remains, is this: distribution of key natural resources. I hope most of you can read this thing. Can you read it here? A distribution of key natural resources across the world, including South Asia and Indian subcontinent. Across the world, including South Asia and Indian subcontinent, which means we have to focus on India. Indian subcontinent means, subcontinent का मतलब क्या है? Subcontinent is the region which is south of Himalayas. We call all that region as the subcontinent, Indian subcontinent. Okay, if you want to write it somewhere, you can write the region south of Himalayas up to the oceans, Indian Ocean. Region south of Himalayas up to the Indian Ocean is your Indian subcontinent. Okay, I'll tell you why it is a subcontinent later, but just write this. It is a subcontinent, and the Indian subcontinent includes India and its neighbors and its immediate neighbors. Indian subcontinent includes India and its immediate neighbors. Who are the immediate neighbors? Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, not China here. Why? Because it is not south of Himalayas. So Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, okay, Burma, to some extent. We don't include whole of Burma in the Indian subcontinent, but still to some extent. And Bangladesh mainly. Bangladesh. That is also part of Indian subcontinent. And broadly politically we also include Sri Lanka in this. Sri Lanka. So we have to learn about the resources of all these and India also. Okay. So now, if I bring you here, there is a word which is now probably new to you. Please read along with me. Distribution of key natural resources and natural resources across the world. You have to learn. So what do I mean by this term, key natural resources, if I ask you? First of all, what are resources? And then what are natural resources? What are resources? What is a resource, if I ask you? I'm just clearing the board because I'll need that part of the board. Okay. So this was one. And I'll write here social geography, the first, and then the second part hence is economic geography. Under this we are discussing whatever we are. So natural resources. What are natural resources and what is a resource? First of all, what is a resource? Resource का मतलब क्या है? The word resource, very simply said, simple definition or simple explanation. What is the simple explanation of the word resource? Anything the use of which is known to us. Anything the use of which is known to us or we know how to use. Anything that we know how to use is a resource. Very simply said. Anything that we know how to use is a resource. Okay, anything that we know how to use is a resource. Okay, from economics perspective. I'm not talking from other perspectives here. From economics perspective or economy perspective. From economy perspective, because we have to understand economic geography. So keep that in mind. Anything the use of which is known to us, or anything which we know how to use. Okay. So in the nature, when we say natural resources, which are the natural resources that we have? Right? Natural means something that exists in the nature, and when I say it exists in the nature, it will be available where? In the land, in the atmosphere, in the water bodies. That's where it will lie. So all the resources that we get from natural resources means coming or sourced, means sourced from land, water bodies, sourced from land, water bodies or atmosphere. Any resource that we source from land, water bodies or atmosphere. So anything that we source from land, water bodies or atmosphere is a resource. Okay. And very good. I'm reading a lot of answers by many of you on the board. I would say don't answer because these are big classes, as in numbers. Number of students is high. So it would become very difficult for the expert to pass on all your answers to me right away. Okay. And many I should say relevant doubts might get lost in this process. Gradually, don't worry. Having said this, gradually we would introduce you to methods where I will ask you the question. It's not that I do not ask questions. I have asked a lot of questions. Okay. But right now I don't want to ask you. There is a reason, because you will be writing long answers and that will, hinder the flow of the class too, So I know how and when to ask questions, right? Have faith in me and I will ask you a lot of questions and you would answer, right? And they would matter. But please pass on your answers only when I ask. I think I have not asked. I might have asked you the question, but I have not asked you to answer. What does that mean? That means when I ask you a question, try to look for the answer, but don't give it to me. Give it to me because the mechanism is pretty mechanical. Give it to me only when I ask you. All right? Right? Good. So, natural resource. What is a resource? The use of which is known to us. And natural means from land, water and atmosphere. Okay? So, which are the examples of resources? If I say natural resource examples. Okay, examples of natural resources. You can say some of the first natural resource examples that we had, the first things that we used were forest resources. Forest, from the forest. The resources from the forest. These are the first resources that we used. Forest resource. Okay, such as, what were the things that we used from forest? Such as wood, and food, and leaves, and so on. And I won't list all. So forest resources were the first resources that we used. And are there people who still use them? Yes. For example, tribals, they still use the forest resources. And not only tribals, we also use. We get the wood and lot many things from the forest still. So forest resources are the first example of natural resources. Then, after forest resource, is there any other examples of resources? Yes, there are, such as from water bodies, such as resources from the oceans, rivers, lakes, and what were the things that we got from there? We got the food. One best example is food. So food was one common thing that we got from the oceans and the lakes and the rivers. You can see lot many tribals, etc. They still collect the food from there. So the ocean resources and the river resources and the lake resources, they were the other resources. Then Apart from that, any other? Yes. Then we had the resources from the land. Land. Which resources? Which were the resources that we got from the land? Such as stones. The oldest are the stones. Stones are the oldest land-based resource that we collected from the land, which is not related to life. And that period when we are collecting the stone or picking the stone from the land and where we learned the use of the stone is so important in history that we call that period as Stone Age in history. This period is called as Stone Age in history. In human evolution, that's a very important age, the Stone Age. Right? So Stone Age is the first time when we picked the stones and started using them. Okay? Stone Age. Then after that, what were the others? Then you had minerals, different minerals from the land. We got lot many minerals from the land, such as, which were the minerals that we got? Minerals such as, and this is one set. Okay? Or if I take you to, before I take you to minerals, there will be something more, I would say. Apart from stone, the next would be soil. Soil is also a resource. Soil. And what did we do from soil? We learned agriculture. Agriculture. So agriculture evolved when we started using soil as a resource. Soil is also a natural resource. Okay, see? And what does agriculture give? Agriculture gave us settlements, villages, hamlets. Hamlet is a small village. So hamlets, villages, right? Agriculture. Once we understood soil, we started growing things. When we grew, we made hamlets, small hamlets where we were living around the farm, then villages. So when the hamlets became big, they became village. Villages, then bigger than villages, communities, big village communities, right? Different villages. Then kingdoms. Yes or no? Kingdoms, empires. This is what agriculture did. Okay? So, soil gave us all this. So, stone, then soil. After that, then comes minerals. Minerals. When we started doing agriculture, then gradually we started picking minerals, such as, which were the first minerals? Copper. Copper, right? Copper and tin. Copper, tin, these were the first minerals. They gave us bronze. And this period is also so important in history that we call it as Bronze Age. Bronze Age. So Stone Age is the first phase of human history. Bronze Age is the second phase of human history. Bronze Age, when we found minerals such as this. And agriculture was the link between Stone Age and Bronze Age. So we passed like this from Stone Age to agriculture to Bronze Age. And after this, we found iron. And we became Iron Age. Iron Age. Iron Age. Age means these are all history. When you will read history, you will come across all this. So Iron Age. So these are all. Where are you getting it from? From the land. Do you get it? Then after iron, which was the next major thing that we got? Then we got next thing, iron. Iron gave us Iron Age, and iron only gave us the Industrial Revolution also. Right? The modern history. Human modern history. Right? That also comes from iron. Because we made a lot of things. So see how we evolved. Initially we were jungle men. Right? We were people living in the jungle. Right? Jungle. So we were living in the jungles for lakhs of years, then Stone Age, then agriculture, then Bronze Age, then Iron Age. And Iron Age, all your ancient history and all that, that is Iron Age. And from here we came to Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution. The beginning of industries started with iron. beginning of industries started with iron. And then after iron, what was the next big thing that we found? We found mineral oil. Mineral oil. What you also call as crude oil. Crude oil. And crude oil also led to industrialization. Because crude oil gave us engines. Engines we made out of crude oil. Petrol engine, diesel engine. And industrial revolution grew further. And we got different other minerals. Not only these, we got lot many other minerals, ... Okay, different other minerals we got from this. And many minerals we got and many minerals we used. And we industrialized and grew, such as we got uranium, we made nuclear energy, nuclear bomb. We kept, moving ahead, and presently we have come here. So when you see these resources, all these natural resources that you get, forest, ocean, land, okay, all these helped us evolve. They helped us grow, all these resources. Right? So these are all the resources that helped us grow, natural resources. Okay, all of this helped us grow. If I have to conclude in one line, what did all these natural resources did? They helped human beings grow. Grow means evolve, develop. Grow not in physically, ऐसा नहीं कि बच्चा से बड़ा हो गया. That we have been, happening for, natural process. That's a biological process. But this growth means growth of civilizations and all. So all these natural resources helped us grow. Now all these activities, from collecting the resources from forest up to here, all these activities, collecting the resource. I'm not saying using the resource. I'm just saying collecting the resource. Collecting all these resources is called as, so all the, getting all this natural resources, getting all these natural resources is called as primary activity. Primary economic activity, you can say, economic activity. Getting all these natural resources, getting things from forest, getting things from ocean, growing crops. Do you get it? So getting all this, right? When you get all these things, get things from forest, get things from oceans, get things from rivers, get things from lakes, collect stones, get things from soil, which means grow agriculture, get minerals. All these are called as primary economic activity. Primary economic activity. All these. Getting the thing is called as primary economic activities. Do we get it? I hope most of you are getting this. Right, so this is what your primary economic activity is. You're getting a sense of your geography syllabus right now, right? Don't worry. Because once you get the whole sense, once you understand the flow in geography, because the problem with students is they don't understand the flow in geography. Geography goes from where to where. Sir, karna kya isme? What are we supposed to do? So you have to first understand from where to where does it go. Once you understand where to where, then you will get the sequence, and then we'll proceed with the sequence. Okay. So hopefully we get this basic sequence. Then next, so please see, now please match it with the syllabus. What do you see here? Distribution means where. I told you, not what, because geography is not only what, it is also where. We were understanding what, now where. So distribution of key natural resources across the world. Where are most of the forests? Where are most of the ocean, rivers, lake resources? Where are most of the, soil resource, agriculture? Where is most of the minerals? Understanding this is your major thing. So this is this part of your syllabus. Where are most of the resources, including in India and this thing. So this is what your next part says. So in economic this thing, it talks of, if I have to say here, in your economic geography, what does it talk of? Talks of natural resources. Natural resources in the world and natural resources in India. Natural resources. Distribution. Natural resource distribution. This is the first part of your economic geography. And I hope now you understand what is natural resource. This explanation was only to make you understand what is natural resource. Okay, so distribution of natural resource is the first thing. Then the second is getting all these resources, collecting the resources. What is the name of the collecting of the resources? Collecting the resources is called as primary economic activity. Okay, so now once you understand distribution, where all do we have? Natural resource distribution. After that, please see on the board, I am ticking this. Distribution of key natural resources in the world and all. I'll just tick that so that we understand we have done this. Means we understand this part of the syllabus. Then the next is what? Factors responsible for location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world. So now we have to understand this. What does this mean? Factors responsible for location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries. Factors responsible for primary sector. So what is primary sector? Primary sector is nothing but collecting the resources. Where are we collecting the resources? This is primary economic activity, also called as primary sector. Primary sector. We call this as primary sector also. What is the activity in primary sector? Economic activity. We collect the natural resources. We collect and grow. That's it. So agriculturally you grow or otherwise you mine and collect. Okay. So primary activity, if I say, what will it include? It will include forestry. Okay. Then fishing. You can say fishing. Then agriculture. And then mining. Mining means getting the resources. Can I say this? Because these are the activities that I am doing here. I am collecting from the forest, we call it as forestry. Collecting from the forest, forestry. Then getting from the oceans, rivers, lake, food, fishing. Okay. Then land, you do the agriculture. So, agriculture, because stone is getting the stone, we don't collect so much of stone. Now we do not live in stone age anymore. Okay, so stone wala part we are leaving. That was a part in our history, but that is over. Then soil, agriculture. So agriculture and collecting all the minerals is mining. So these four things are your primary sector. So where do we do all this? Where do we collect from the forest? Where do we collect from the oceans? Where do we collect from, grow, and where do we? So that is factors responsible for location of primary industry. So next part of your syllabus, location of what? Primary sector or industry? Sector or industry? Sector means sector of your economy or industry. So primary sector means primary sector of industry. Secondary sector of industry. Sector means part. Okay, so industry. So location of primary sector, which means collecting. Once you have collected, then what do you do? Once you have collected from the forest and you have collected from the oceans and when you have collected from agriculture, you have produced and mined everything. What do you do next? What do we do next? Then obviously after primary you have to come to secondary and then you have to go to tertiary. So we will see how do we go from here to here. So just to take you there, can I rub this part of the board? Can I? Right. So in economic activity, which were the activities? We have written it there, so there is no need to write. I can say simply said natural resources, natural resource distribution is the first thing. The second is location of a primary sector. B, C. We have to see secondary. I'll just write secondary and tertiary. And when you put all of this together, you get human geography. That's what your human geography thing is. Okay. So I've just social geography includes population and this and this. So now we are trying to understand the secondary part. So again, allow me to rub this part of the board. I'll use this much of the board. थोड़ा सा इधर कर दीजिए, साफ दिखे, थोड़ा नीचे. और okay, what do you have? Getting all the natural resources. That was the primary activity. Primary activity includes forest, fishing, agriculture, mining. Now once you collect, when you collect all this, what do you do after this? Next is process. Process all this. Process means you make something out of it. Right? For example, you make something out of the wood. What do you make? You make furnitures. Right? So you process it. Making furniture is processing. Yes or no? Same ways. Fishes, you collect them, then you freeze, you process, you cut, you pack, all that is industry, right? So you are processing it, right? You apply some preservatives, etc. Third, agriculture. You produce the food and then you clean, cook, pre-cook, whatever you can say, whatever, right? Lot many processing activities we do with the agriculture produce. Mining thing, you take the iron, then you make steel, right? You make different type of things out of all this. So all this is processing. We can also say manufacture. Manufacture. You manufacture something out of it. Process, make, manufacture. The economic word is manufacture. You make something out of it. And then when you manufacture something out of this, you call this as secondary sector or activity. This is the secondary sector or activity. So primary is collecting, processing is secondary. When you make something out of those things, when you make something out of wood, when you make something out of fish, when you make something out of, all this, so this is your manufacture. You are making something out of it. Iron, steel, you are making something out of different copper, silicon, right? So secondary sector. This is manufacturing. So where are most of so next part of your syllabus, factors responsible for location of primary, then secondary and tertiary sectors in various parts of the world, including India, which means where are we collecting and where are we locating all the secondary sectors. So primary sector, then secondary sector. Secondary sector means what? It simply means where are you manufacturing things. So where do we find it comfortable to manufacture things? For example, in India, we do food processing, right? In Japan, they do electronic processing, right? Silicon Valley, they make softwares, they make hardwares. In China, they are making everything. Okay, so where do we make all these things in the world? Not how do we make, that is economy. Where do we make? Geography is about what and where. It is more about where, right? So where do we make it? That is geography. So factors responsible. Why is it located? For example, why in India, you can say food processing industry has caught up in let's say for example Punjab, but not in Chhattisgarh, right? So you have to understand, is there agriculture relation to that? Any other geography relation to that? Those things. Okay. So where is it located? And then what is the third one? The third is for collecting and for processing. Right? This was getting and processing. You need some services. Services required. You need some services required. for collecting and processing, such as which services? Such as power, energy. These are some services that you need. You need transport for manufacturing and collecting. You need communication. Okay. So when you talk of these things, this collectively is called as service sector or service sector, and another word for this is tertiary sector. Tertiary sector. Service sector or tertiary sector. So, primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world. So, location of tertiary sector. Primary, secondary and tertiary sector. Do we get? And whatever you do for your world geography, you also do for India geography, because your syllabus says so. So this is broadly how your syllabus maps, the paper 1 syllabus and your prelims syllabus maps with the different aspects of geography. Do we get it? Do we understand this? Right? So there is a physical geography and there is a human geography part and there is a world and there is a India part to your whole geography. And this is all of your prelims and mains paper 1 syllabus put together. So we can tick that mains paper 1 syllabus dikha dijiye. Can you just show the syllabus please? So can I tick all the parts of the syllabus? Do we understand how your syllabus is? Right? I have mapped and I have ticked that factors responsible for location of primary, secondary, tertiary. So this is the whole of your syllabus. Always keep in mind the syllabus should be there in your memory for UPSC preparation. If you don't know the syllabus, then you don't know what you are doing. Right? And what are you preparing for? You only know mujhe kahin jana hai. But you don't actually know the syllabus is your guide. It tells you, okay, what should I prepare and how should I prepare? All that will come. So syllabus you should memorize. You should remember it. Now, is there anything more to the syllabus? There is something more to the syllabus. The syllabus doesn't end here for geography. Right? There is something more. What more? Apart from mains paper 1, the syllabus for geography also comes in paper 3. Paper 3 also you have geography syllabus. How? Please see. The mains paper 3 syllabus for geography, this is for which paper, which part? You can see here, paper 3, mains paper 3 syllabus. So when you see the mains paper 3 syllabus, there also you find geography. How? Please see on the board. Only the yellow underlined part is somewhat related to geography. Okay, how? Please see. Now, allow me to rub this. Human geography, can I assume this much is broadly understood by all of us? Some of you who have already read your NCERTs and all, you will find that, sir, we are going, we are not moving to the topic directly. Many of you might have, the ones who have already read your NCERTs might have expected from the very first class, sir, will start directly with what? Formation of the Earth's surface, atmosphere, ocean, interior of the Earth. वो सबसे start हो जाएंगे सीधा, right? But first, before I take you there, obviously I have to take you to there, and that's what we have to do. But before we go there, first get a sense of your whole geography syllabus, because I find after reading the NCERTs and all also, lot many people still don't have a proper sense of what all is there in your geography syllabus, because your NCERTs also tend to confuse, and therefore, so please see here one more time. Now, please see. This paper 3, by the way, your paper 3 is about what? When you see the paper 3, paper 3 is mainly a India paper. It is mainly a India paper. Keep that in mind. Mainly. Apart from ecology environment, which is also related to India, broadly most of the question in ecology environment they ask, they are also related to India. And science and technology also, most of the questions they ask are generally related to India. But in India, it is an India related paper, and in this they ask you question related to economics of India, economy of India, not economics, Indian economy, right? Indian economy. And where you read this Indian economy, this is where economic geography comes in. Economic geography, because geography is about what and where, economy is about how. In your economy you will read how economies run, right? How manufacturing takes place, how service industries grow and all that. Geography tells you what it is and where it is. Okay. So in your economic geography, because it comes here, right? So this thing, which are the parts which they have given? Now please see the economic geography part. Hence we will be talking only around this part of India, this part here. So basically whole of the paper 3 is this section broadly. Okay, if I have to say, the paper 3 syllabus is mostly economic geography of India. So please see what all is there. First they say major crops, cropping patterns, different type of irrigation, etc. So crop and cropping pattern, which means which sector are they talking of? Primary sector. Primary sector. In primary sector what? Agriculture. Can you see? So that part is related here. Primary sector, agriculture, major crops, cropping pattern. So I'll just go on ticking, and you can see more things related to agriculture here. Please see major crops, cropping patterns. Then irrigation is related to, it's a service related to agriculture. Okay. Then transport, marketing of agricultural produce. Can you see? So obviously we won't get into marketing, etc. Not the kind of situation that we are dealing right now. But we will try to understand broadly, right? The geography perspective, not the economy perspective. Economy perspective you will do in your economy. So there will be some overlaps. I will not get into the areas which are economy related. I'll talk broadly around geography related things, right? And aid of farmers, etc. Then food security, buffer stock, because they are related to agriculture. How much we are producing based on that. Okay. Then food processing. Where are the food processing industries? Where are they? Not how we run and all. Then land reform. Why land? Because primary activity, agriculture, soil, all that is related to this. So we have to understand the land. How much land we have in agriculture, all that we have to understand. And lastly, energy, transport. Can you see? All this is transport, port, road, air, railways, all this is tertiary sector. So this is tertiary sector. So when you see which all sectors have they included? They have included primary sector, agriculture and all. They have included tertiary sector. I should say secondary sector first, because food processing and all, that is secondary. So secondary, and they have included tertiary, where they are talking of energy, port, etc. So all these 3 sectors they have asked this part with respect to India. They have clarified the syllabus slightly more for your this thing. So this is broadly your geography syllabus for UPSC, from your UPSC's this thing, right? This syllabus I have taken from the ad which comes for UPSC exam every year. Okay, and you can get it on the Vision IAS website and many other places. Best source, most authentic is UPSC. If you are not able to find it on UPSC's, then simpler sources are sources like Vision IAS or any other platform that you want to pick it from, right? So can I assume this much of the syllabus story is broadly understood by most of you? Can I assume we understand the syllabus by now? This much? Is it broadly okay? Right? Can I assume this? And I'm not asking you to respond to the board still. But can I assume? Once I say the ones who are not clear about the syllabus still, okay, if there are many people who are not clear, right, and so we have a way to find this. I would now ask you to say only one of the 2 words, yes and no. ठीक है, yes and no. I would like you to respond. Did you get this much? Are you able to organize this much in your head now after this, after spending around 2 hours on this? Can I say we have at least understood the geography syllabus as given by UPSC? Huh? Yes or no? Answer. Please don't give me every student's response. Tell me in general, most of them, something like this. So expert sir, I would request you to just share whether most of them understood the syllabus as discussed in the class, because once they understand the syllabus, I have to add something more to this and then I have to take them to the sources. Once we are done with that, then we move beyond. So are most of you have a better understanding of the syllabus now? Can I say more organized understanding? Yes or no? Most of you have a more organized understanding of the syllabus and overall geography thing? Broadly, yes and no. Don't say anything else. बहुत सारा answers नहीं देना. And expert sir, please share. What is the response? Most, many, whatever. Right? And I'll rub in the meantime this part of the board because I'll need it for the next thing that I need to do. Once you understand the syllabus, so syllabus understood broadly. Yes sir, most students have answered in affirmative. Very good, right? Are there considerable number of no also, sir? Any considerable number of no's? Please do share. Okay. So broadly this. Now, so if you see, and if I try to put this, the story starts, the syllabus that you have seen starts from Earth. On the Earth, we start with physical geography. Then from physical geography, we go to human geography. Okay, this way, right? Broadly, we can say this is what we have understood. But is there something more before this also? Yes, now there's something more. Okay, so no, Sarah said, sir, not at all considerable. Okay, not at all. Which means most of you have broadly understood the syllabus till now. Okay, almost all of you. I won't use the word all of you because, okay, but yes, okay. So the ones who did not get, you always have the, freedom to call me. All the PDFs that I share in the class, they have my numbers and my email ID, but please do not ask very, very small doubts. First, the channel that I would like you to explore, first send your doubt to the, Vision IS options that are given to you. You have your doubt clearing, options. You have your experts and all. You can send your doubt to them. If you don't get your doubts cleared through them, then please approach me. But don't send your doubt first of all to me, because then I become overloaded with doubts. That doesn't help. Okay, then I won't be able to give quality answers. So there's no point doing that. Okay. So now, do we have something before this Earth story? Yes, before this we have something. What is it? We have the Earth is the Earth alone? Is there something more to Earth, or is the Earth alone? The Earth is, part of something bigger. What is the Earth part of? It is the part of solar system. Now I'm taking you to something before this Earth physical geography thing. Okay, before as in, what is the Earth part of? So solar system, and the solar system is part of what? We can say universe. Universe. The solar system is part of universe, right? And when did the universe start? The universe started from Big Bang. And obviously there will be more dots in between. So between universe and solar system there are more dots, right? There are many layers in between. So universe, then you have something, after that and after that and after that, and then you come to the solar system. Okay. So Big Bang. So when you see the story of the Earth does not start with Earth. The story of the Earth starts from Big Bang. Actually, the story of the whole universe starts from Big Bang. Okay. So you have to do a very small beginning of this story from Big Bang to the solar system first. Very small, crisp, brief intro of this also we have to do. Brief introduction of Big Bang to solar system, and then we come to Earth, and then we go beyond this. Okay. So this is how we'll proceed. This part we'll do a brief intro. So when we talk how we'll proceed like this. We'll start from a very brief introduction from Big Bang to solar system. 1. Once we have done, then we'll come to Earth, and then we'll go into the Earth story. Okay. So the brief intro is the first part, and then the Earth story will begin for us. Right? So that we first understand how did the Earth come into existence. Right? Once we understand the Earth's existence, then we'll go into the Earth other aspects, physical geography aspects, one by one. Okay. So this is another quick reference to how we will proceed. In today's class, we'll try to start from Big Bang and try to go up to solar system first, with some in the time that is remaining, and then we'll try to go beyond. Okay, this is how we'll go. Now, apart from this, once we have said this, next is your sources. So your introduction, done. That's it. This is your geography's introduction broadly, then the sources, and then after that the sequence of topics, etc. will come to. Okay, so which are the sources that you are supposed to refer? So if I have to tell you the sources for preparation, right, for preparation, one is, I'll take you back, syllabus. The syllabus is the most important source which tells you what to do. Then the second is your books, and I'll come to books in a moment, right? And the third one, what to read from the books, who will tell you? UPSC questions. UPSC questions. They will tell you what to read from the books, the UPSC questions. So you must focus on UPSC questions to get a sense of what you have to read. Okay. Now, where do you get the UPSC questions? You can get these UPSC questions from Vision IAS. Vision IAS. I think you have a section on the website, right? Such as resources, something like resources or somewhere, right? Or previous year questions, something like this. In that, previous year questions. When you go to that, there you find prelims questions and mains questions. Prelims and mains question papers, especially the prelims, not the mains, but at least the prelims with answers and explanation. With answer and explanation. So I would request you to, syllabus we have seen, books I will tell you, don't worry. Questions where do you get? You get from here, the Vision IAS website. From the Vision IAS website you can get the resources, prelims and mains questions, and at least the prelims questions with answers and explanations you will get. So at least please do focus on these questions, prelims and mains questions, download them and keep them with you. They will be the most handy thing for getting you a sense of whether I'm going in the right direction or not. Right? Once you read the part of the geography and then you read the questions, and if you are able to answer, good enough, you are going in the right direction in terms of your preparation. Is this okay? Can I assume this much is also clear? Now, what is the next thing? The next thing is the books, but I'll take you to the books after the break. So I'll give you a quick break here. After the break, we'll come to the books, and I'll tell you how you should proceed with the books. How you should, not only the books, because that I have already told in the how to prepare for GS Geography YouTube video. How you should proceed with your books, that's what I'll tell you, and which sections you are supposed to read for the next class onwards. Right? That also I'll tell you to read. Okay, and then we'll start with the introduction today, and then we'll go. So take a quick break, okay, and a quick 10-minute break, come back in 10 minutes, and then we start with the books, I've told you the sources, etc. I'll show you some of the UPSC questions, and then I'll tell you the book sources, and then we proceed. Okay. So just a quick 10-minute break for all of you. Go, come back, and then we again start. In the meantime, expert sir, if there is anything substantial that you want to share, you can please display that on the board, right? So that I can take care of that after the break session. So, quick break. Okay, so now let us start after the break part of the story. All right. There are few things that I would like to take up before we move beyond. One is the source. I think we have to come to the sources part of the story. How do we go, and that UPSC question and all this. So we would be sharing with you a document called as how to prepare document, sir, Divyansh sir. We can use that, the document that I'm showing them, most of them today, right? How to prepare. This kind of a document is there. Introduction classes. Okay, how to prepare. All right. So this material we'll use, and this is a diagram which is there from your NCERT only. Okay. Now in this, your syllabus for prelims and mains is given. Okay, and so syllabus is given. I have already put them together, and UPSC question papers are also given. Okay. The mains question papers, not the prelims question papers, but the mains question paper is given from 2009. So all the questions from 2009 onwards are given in this. This is the only PDF where you don't find my number. That's okay, right? So all year wise we have given the questions, and I want you to focus on questions from 2013 onwards. Keep this in mind. Focus on questions from 2013 onwards for mains. Why? 2013 onwards, mains pattern changed. The mains pattern, GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 came after that. So pattern change, so focus on questions after 2013. You have lot many questions since then. Okay, so focus on mains question from 2013 onwards, 2020. Okay, and prelims also you can focus in the last 10 years. Last 10 years prelims question. Focus on last 10 years prelims question. So I'll just show you some of those questions on the board, and there are some more doubts which I'll come to in a moment. So for example, this is your question 2020 prelims question paper. Questions I have chosen just to make it on one sheet. Okay, you can make this kind of sheet, or you can get the Vision IS this thing. And yes, yeah. So Divyansh sir, we can share this, the how to prepare thing. These prelims question papers, I would want you to download it yourself. Right, we won't be sharing you all the geography prelims question at one place, right? Mains we will be sharing, mains questions we will be sharing, not the prelims questions. So prelims questions you have to download yourself from Vision IS website, because they will give you explanatory answers also, right? So download it from there, and in then you can see the questions which I'll discuss in the class, so you can see them from there also. Okay, and you can see it for yourself also, right? So this way you have these questions, right, given. For example, you can see most of these questions, these are the questions asked in 2020. Okay, all these questions which are directly or indirectly related to geography. Directly or indirectly related, I'm saying, right? For example, farming. So any question related to farming, you should have a background of farming to understand. Whether it is not directly related or indirectly related, that's a different thing. But it is somewhat, then for example, when they ask you habitat, natural habitat, sanctuary, park, so you should have an idea where are these forest types, those you should have an understanding, right? I'll talk of these overlap thing in a moment. Okay, then you have similarly different other questions, which place is where, all those. So these are the questions. You should keep seeing these questions, or these kind of questions. This is 2020, you should have a similar 2019, 20. So all you have to do, download the papers and tick and write. Okay, and in that they have already mentioned geography and this. So you can just see those questions and get a sense. All right. So prelims and mains questions. Mains questions we'll be sharing. Prelims question you have to pick yourself from the portal. Okay. So that part taken care of. Next is your overlap. Overlap is a very important part which many people ask, sir, there are sections which are overlapping and all. For example, if I show you the questions, see here, okay, this is your mains 2020 question paper, right? Mains paper 1 and paper 3. I normally say paper 1 and paper 3, but you can see an overlap here, not this year only, but every year they do some overlaps, right? For example, the first question is a physical geography question. Then when you go beyond the process, the next question, second one, it says the process of desertification does not have climate boundaries. So desertification, it comes in ecology environment also, it comes in geography also. Okay, so you can say somewhat overlap. How will Himalayan melting? So obviously geography, right? And you can go on. So you have many questions which are there from your geography perspective in this. All right. Then when you go to the next paper and you go to paper number 2, right? Now paper 2 is not typically related to geography in any ways. But when you see this paper, the emergence of fourth industrial revolution, digital revolution, has initiated e-governance as an integral part of government. I'm not saying this is geography question. It is not. But this point of fourth industrial revolution is generally throughout any GS part, right, is covered by me every year. I'm covering this for last 3-4 years. What is fourth industrial revolution? It is the digital industrial revolution. Okay, I was expecting a question on the fourth industrial revolution somehow or the other. They didn't ask it in geography. They asked here. In polity, no one will teach you fourth industrial revolution, what it means. Okay, or any other thing. International relation you will not learn. I mean, maybe this year onward people might start teaching. Okay, but please go back and check. I don't think anyone anywhere is teaching polity and related topics. Anyone is governance and all they are teaching you fourth industrial revolution. Nowhere. But the question is in that paper only. So you should have an idea of fourth industrial revolution, what it means, the digital revolution, what it means, how it is related to service sector, location of service industry, how it has evolved, how industries are evolving, right? How we are moving from primary to secondary to tertiary. What are industrial revolutions? So those things we have done in geography. We every year for the last few years we are doing first, second, third, fourth industrial revolution every time, right? And see the question. Okay, so all I'm saying is there is overlap which is happening with geography. So geography, everything. Why is there an overlap? Because when you see the society around you or the world that you will be administering, the world you don't administer as per geography or something. When you become a DM, you can't say, "Ye to geography ka question hai, ask geography expert." You can't say, "This is economy question, ask somebody else." When you are the DM or you are a secretary, you have to handle that topic, whatever comes to you, right? The world is like that. So in the world itself, there is a lot of overlap, and hence in your preparation and your questions also, they are asking you that kind of question. I'll give you an example. Way back, I think few years back, 2013 or 14 or 15, somewhere around that time, they asked a question on urban planning, and that question they asked from Mohenjo-daro, right? The Indus Valley civilization, Harappa, if I'm right. So Indus Valley civilization. So they put a question which included ancient history with urban planning in present day. So geography, urban planning, settlement, and ancient history, they're related. So a lot of overlap happens in your syllabus, right? In your interview questions, there will be overlap. In your essay questions, there will be overlap. Here also there will be overlap. There will be overlap in social issues and social geography. Do you get it? Population geography, settlement geography, and social issues. There would always be overlap. Economy also there will be overlap. Industrialization there will be overlap. Right? Ecology environment there will be overlap. So we would try to take it up to that overlap point, and I would focus on my geography related thing. Ecology environment sir will focus on his part. Economy sir will focus on his part. Social issues faculty would focus on their part, history faculty would focus on their part, but in your mind you have to gradually integrate them. You don't have to overlap, you have to integrate, right? There is a difference between overlap and integrating. What is the difference? When you integrate the gears and wires and all, you make a car. When you overlap everything, you make a garage. Okay. So you don't have to make a garage where everything, all the parts of the car are lying one over the other. You have to make a car out of all this in your head, right? You have to integrate all the gears properly. so that everything starts functioning properly. When you are able to integrate everything in your head, that's when you are prepared for UPSC. Okay, so that's it. So you have to just understand those parts and you have to keep putting them in your head. Okay, but don't overlap them, integrate them. Okay, so I believe this overlapping part is broadly understood. There would always be overlap, but every faculty would take care of his or her part. Second is notes making. Okay, while in geography, what I'll expect is anything that I'm writing on the board, I would expect you to note with me. The moment I write, you also write. Until I ask you not to write. Many times I will say, ye mat likho, don't write this. Then you don't write. But if I'm writing anything, that is your flow, the notes in flow. Right? So whenever you will see those things will come to your mind. This is one. Second is, if you find I have said something new, and if you get in the habit of making your hand move along with your, you listening and your hand also writing. Get gradually in the habit, gradually. I'm not saying from the beginning, but gradually. Get in the habit of noting things also. Third, anything very important, I would say, note it down. Right? Anything which is very important and must be in your copy, I would say, note it down. That will be dictation and that you have to write. Right? So whenever I say please note it down, means very important, you must write. Right? Second thing which you must write, I would generally be in the class saying simply said. The moment I say simply said, that line should be there in your copy. Simply said means the crux of the matter. Right? So I might explain in many ways, then I would say simply said. Right? So when I say simply said, please note it down in your copy. So 2 times you must note down in your copy. Which are these 2 times? One, simply said. Second, when I say note it down, please do note it down. Clear? And third time you must write in your copy. Anything that I am writing on the board, you must write in your copy. Okay, especially if I am organizing and writing, you must. Because that is your flow. Geography notes are more like flow. They will be like flow, the way we have done today. Okay, we have gone from one to the other. So I have done this so that you can learn how to write your, arrow based notes. Okay, because in geography there will be conceptual things. I can't dictate everything. And there is no need also. There is no printed notes that I'm giving you. No printed notes. I'm giving you handouts which are diagrams, images which I show. Right? So you will get all the diagram that I will show, you will get on your PDF platform. Right? So they will be shared. Anything that I'm writing on the board, I want you to note down. Okay? No printed notes I'm giving you. Printed notes, because Vision has already provided. They are good enough. Wherever needed, I'll tell you, read them. Okay? Right? So I'm coming to that. Note making, I hope, is clear to everyone. 3 ways of note making. Anything written on the board, please do write. Anything written in a sequence. Nahi, matlab aisa nahi, if I have written one spelling, you write down that also. Anything written in a sequence, note down. Second, I would say, note down, you note down. Third, I say, simply said, note down. These 3 things at least. Okay, good. So note making, I hope that is also clear. Now the next part is map. So map, once I tell you the sources, that's where we'll come to the map part. Okay. So, okay, coming to the sources. So which are the sources and how do you read your sources? UPSC questions. This part, I hope everyone is clear. Next is your, so Divyan sir shared with me, the expert, your online expert. He has shared with me the doubts that you people said. So there were doubts around note making, overlapping. We have done map part. I'll come to that. Divyan sir, I believe that these doubts are taken care of. Map I'll take care of. Okay. If there is anything else, please do share. And the next 20-25 minutes, I'll try to cover that. So let us go from here to the, after this question part, the sources part. Okay. So when we say, so out of these, syllabus done, UPSC questions I've shown you, and I expect you understand how do you go about them and where do you get them from. All right. Now, the books part of the story. Okay. So when we talk of the books part of the story, books are all new books. New books means new edition. New books or new edition. New edition, not the old edition. We are always talking of the new edition of any book that I am asking you to read. Okay. So, which books do I expect you to read? The first set of books, I would say, all the books that I expect out of these, the first set A is your NCERT books, NCERT, and I'll divide them into two groups, 6th to 10th and 11th, 12th. 6th to 10th and 11th, 12th. Right? Now, 6th to 10th NCERTs are the ones which are being projected on the board. You can see those projected. Okay. So, which is the sixth one? The Earth, our habitat. This is your class 6th NCERT. Okay, and this is the content of that. You can see what is given here, Earth and solar system. That's exactly where we will start the class from, the Earth and the solar system. Okay, so we have to start. So the ones who want some background, they don't know, read that part, Earth and the solar system from here. Do we get it? After that, we'll come to latitude, longitude. That's the next part. And then the motion of the Earth. That's the third part. These are the three parts in terms of the sequence that we will do. Right? So, universe to the Earth. Right? See here. When they say in this, Earth and the solar system, basically what will we be doing? Earth and the solar system will be universe to the Earth. So, universe, solar system, Earth. That's the first. After that, longitude and latitude. We will try to understand what do we mean by latitude and longitude. So, if you want, you can refer here. Class 6 NCERT, and I'll tell you where do you get it from. And motions of the Earth, that's the next thing. After that, we come to the other regions. Major domains of the Earth means, domains mean what? Land, oceans or water bodies and atmosphere. Then on the land, major landforms. Okay, and then they will talk of India and all that. So this is how the NCERT goes. Class 6 NCERT goes like this. Do we get it? Now after the class 6 NCERT, what do you have? What do we get after the class 6 NCERT? Then you have the next class 7th NCERT. Okay, let me just put the slide there. So after this, class 7th. You can see our environment, class 7th NCERT. In this, what all do you get? So in this, you have sections such as environment. So they tell you about the environment. Environment means the surrounding in which the biosphere is there. Right? The surrounding in which the living beings are there. Environment means the surrounding of the living being. That is your environment. Which means the atmosphere, the land and the water bodies. Right? So the surrounding in which the living form lives, that's your environment. So environment, then they will go inside the Earth. Inside the Earth, and then our Earth, air, water, you can see. Right? That's how the chapters go. So if you want, you can read these chapters, class 6, 7. Then after this, you have 8th NCERT. That says resources and development. Can you see how it is related? So resources and development, that is the 8th, in which it will talk of different resources. Right? Which are the resources it is talking of? It is talking of land resource, you can see, land resource we discussed. Land, soil, water, natural vegetation means forest, wildlife is also forest, mineral, power. I hope you understand agriculture, industries, human resource. Human resource is part of social geography. Okay, so economic, social geography, human resource. Alright? Then, after this, so this is your 8th NCERT. Then you come to 9th NCERT, contemporary India. Right? This will talk of India. All the India geography related thing. India physical and India human. Okay. India physical and India human geography. And then contemporary India 2, class 10th NCERT. This talks of more of India human. More about India human. Resources, water, agriculture, mineral, manufacturing, all this. Okay. So this is your India human geography. You can see here. The first India geography was India physical geography. I shouldn't have said India human, that was India physical geography. This is India human geography. Do we get? So this is how your class 10th NCERT up to here it is there. Then after that you have 4 more NCERTs. And one thing that I would like you to pick from your NCERTs, very important thing given in all the NCERTs are these appendices. These appendices are given, which are given in your NCERTs, they are very useful, right? Class 6, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th NCERT, and not only 10th, 11th, 12th also. You must pick up all these appendices and put them together at one place for all these. Why? Because they give you very important words and terms and all. Many times you people ask, sir, I don't understand what is this, that. They are all given in these appendices. And where do you find all these NCERTs? You can download it from ncert.nic.in, if I'm right. That's the website. The NCERT website is there. From there, e-books you can download. You can download all these free. They don't charge you anything. Right? So see how important these appendices are. Just see, this is a class 6 NCERT appendix. It gives you the states and the union territories and their capitals. Okay, I hope this much is okay, but see how updated they are. They have included in your union territory even the recent ones. Ladakh, they have already included. So it's this thing. Then see here the glossaries of terms that you have. For example, adolescence, alluvial plain, base population, biome, birth rate, death rate. You can see ecosystem, environment, flora, fauna, fold, geosyncline. All these are words which you generally find confusing. So if you can just have this, igneous rocks, lagoons, lakes, lithosphere plate, everything is given. This is your class 6th appendix. Then you have the glossary of terms for the next: anticline, GDP, geothermal gradient, humus, everything is given. Igneous rocks, all this. So if you want one printed note from me, if you ask me, sir, some printed note. This is one printed note that you can directly download from NCERT. Get the chapters and you can get this appendices, okay, and these appendices would also be of help. Divyansh sir, we can share also these, but I would recommend that you people get it from the NCERT website officially, okay. That will be a better thing to do. So you can directly download all this from the chapters. The end of every class NCERT, you will have the appendices part given or glossary part given. You can get it from there. Please do download. Okay. Then after this, you have the fundament next, your next NCERTs. So class 6 to 10th NCERT. Now please see here. Who are supposed to do the class 6 to 10th NCERT? Class 6 to 10th is for people who find geography very difficult. If you find geography very difficult, then you read this, class 6 to 10th. The ones who can read the class 11th and find it okay, you can start. So this is compulsory. This is compulsory for all, class 11th, 12th. But 6 to 10th is optional for you. Optional means if you want, you can read. But if you don't want, and if you think you can directly read 11, 12 and understand, then you can miss the 6 to 10. Okay, 6 to 10, then you can miss. But some parts are not given in 11, 12, such as latitude, longitude, not given in 11, 12. Solar system, not given in 11, 12. So they are given only in your class 6 NCERT. Okay, so please keep that in mind. But compulsory read is class 11, 12. If you see all the toppers, they would say, we have read the class 11, 12 NCERT. Some of them will say we have read also the 6 to 10th. So if you want at least this much, you must. This, if you want, if you feel it is getting difficult, then you refer class 6 to 10th. Right? And geography does not start before class 6th. So if a 11-year-old can understand and read the NCERT, so can you at least. Okay? So I hope you understand. So this is your NCERT, all the new NCERTs. Okay? So class 11, 12th, how many NCERTs do we have? In class 11, 12th, you have total 4 NCERTs. 4 NCERTs are there. How? You have India and world and physical and human. Okay, so India, physical, I should say world and India. I think order मैंने उल्टा लिख दिया है. I'll just repeat that. So world and India. Okay, so for example, when you see your class 11th NCERT, you have the 11th World Physical and 11th India Physical. You have two NCERTs of class 11th. In class 11th, you have two NCERTs, right? They cover World Physical and India Physical. And then in class 12th, you have two NCERTs. Class 12th also. So in all, how many NCERTs? 4 books. You have 4 NCERTs. 4 NCERTs in your class 11, 12. These 4 you must read. Must read. Okay, these 4. And I'll show you which are they. You can see the class 11th NCERTs. Okay, once you have written this much. So 4 NCERTs, World and India, Physical and Human. India, 11th, both the 11th ones are World Physical and India Physical, and 12th one are World Human and India Human. So please see the 11th first. Fundamental of Physical Geography. This is the most important book. Fundamental of Physical Geography, textbook of class 11. This is the book that we have to start with. Okay, start with, right? So for example, chapters, geography as a discipline, I don't want you to read too much. I mean, just give it a basic read and move on, right? So quick read. Quick read. Don't remember, not needed too much. Origin and evolution of Earth, important. This is important. But just before this, we will talk of the class 6th solar system to universe and the latitude and longitude part also. That also we will do. Okay, so in the class, when we start with the topic, first we will do the class 6th Earth to solar system, and the next we will do the latitude, longitude, the movement, and then we will come to this origin wala story. Origin and evolution of the Earth. We will come to then. And then you have to read all these chapters. All these chapters are important. We have to read. I'll keep telling in every class which chapter for the next class I expect you to read. Okay. Right. So I'll tell you today also which chapter I would expect you to read from where. So this is your class 11th NCERT. After this class 11th, next is class 11th NCERT with its glossary. So I would expect you to download the appendix or glossary also and read abiotic, air mass, all these words are given here, which are important, right? Continental crust. Once you read this, you will understand all these terms. Just read, right, and keep them with you. These are the terms which I will be using in the class. Epicenter, okay, geomagnetism, all these words will come as we proceed. So you can just keep these words with you. They will become handy, right? This is the printed notes for geography if you want, right? So please do keep them with you, right? Then next is what? Then comes India Physical Environment. This is the second NCERT, India Physical Environment. Okay, India Physical Environment. Now this is the second NCERT of India. Okay, so we'll talk of this also gradually, and the glossary given here, so you can keep the glossary. I told you please collect all the glossaries at one place and go on, reading the terms gradually. Then next is Fundamental of Human Geography. This is where your World Human Geography comes. World Human Geography, and then lastly you have the glossary for that, and lastly India, People and Economy. People means social geography, economy means economic geography. So India, social geography and economic geography. And that's it with the terms and the glossary. Okay. So these are your, and the NCERT part we can't share on the platform, right? Officially we can't. That's an NCERT thing. So I would expect you to download it yourself and this thing. Okay. So keep that in mind. And please download. So these are your NCERTs. So this is first part. Now once I have said the NCERT, apart from the NCERT, what else do I expect you to read? Apart from NCERT, and I'm not taking you beyond this today deliberately also because there is something that I want you to read before the class and then come, and that will help us all. Then the second is, once you have read these NCERTs of 11th, 12th and this thing, compulsory this thing, the next book is G.C. Leong, Goh Chang Leong. Goh Chang Leong or G.C. Leong. Okay. And what does the book look like? The book looks like this. Certificate Physical and Human Geography. Goh Chang Leong. Certificate Physical and Human Geography. Please do read this book. And I'll come to the question, should you make notes from NCERT and all? I'll just come to that. Don't worry. Okay. So this is your Certificate Physical and Human Geography. Alright. And in this also, for tomorrow's class, for example, I would expect you to slightly read Exploring the Universe and Solar System and Shape of the Earth. So this chapter, the first chapter from G.C. Leong, I expect you to slightly read for the next 2-3 classes. In the next 2 or 3 classes, we'll be doing 2 classes, I should say, we'll be doing this. Okay, what is given in this G.C. Leong chapter, right? Chapter number 1. If you don't have, you can't get it in the next class, then the source is class 6th NCERT and Vision IAS handout. If you can't get G.C. Leong in the next day, okay, if you don't have, then, but please do get G.C. Leong, because there are many places where I'll ask you to read G.C. Leong. Okay, so please get this book, and till you get it, read it from your Vision IAS handouts, geography handout. Vision IAS geography handout 1. Start from there. There these things are given. Right? I'll tell you the sequence for tomorrow. Those things will be given. You find out and read from there. And you read it from NCERT class 6th as this thing. Right? So G.C. Leong, this is the book and this is the chapter. Right? Especially Exploring the Universe, Solar System, Shape of the Earth, Earth's movement. These are the things that we'll be doing. Right? So this is the chapter for tomorrow's class, if you ask me. This is the chapter. Right, and your class 6th NCERT, right, where it talks of the solar system, etc., and the latitude, longitude, and the movement of the earth. So those 3 chapters for class 6 and this chapter, right, we'll be starting in the next class form. Next, third book after this. The third book is India Yearbook. India Yearbook, which will have the year. Rather than this word yearbook, it will have the year given in it. Okay, for example, what does the India Yearbook look like? See this. This is your India 2020, published by Government of India. Right? This is published by Government of India. Keep that in mind. Okay, something like this. India Yearbook, published by Government of India. You can see at the bottom, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. They have published this. And this book also I want you to have and read. Not 2020, you will now be buying 2021. So you should be buying 2021. It will be there, out there in a few days. So 2021 you have to buy. So which book? India 2021. Alright. On the net, it is available again as a Kindle edition, or you can buy the hard edition also. After India Yearbook, Economic Survey. Economic Survey. But Economic Survey you don't have to read now. I'll tell you when. We'll come to that later, not now. Alright, so this is your, now this is it. And then lastly, I should say your current affairs. Current affairs. But I wouldn't expect you to read current affairs right now too much. First, focus on your GS. Understand the basics of GS for the next few months. 2-3 months, focus on the basics. After 2-3 months, then you start picking the newspaper. Not right now. Because right now you don't have a sense of what to pick. Everything would look important. You know, it's like a child going to a toy shop where everything looks important. Okay, so first learn the game, then you will know which sports equipment you want to pick. Okay, once you grow, and once you start knowing the basics of your game, then you don't go to the toy shop and start picking everything. Then you go and pick only the sports that you are interested in. Okay. So, this is your basic thing. Now, apart from this, there is something more which is important, which is your atlas and this thing. So, atlas I'll come to in a minute. Your note making. How do you make notes? Okay. I would recommend that, now please listen to this carefully. I would recommend that read your book and make a synoptical note. Don't make a note out of it right now. What do you make? You make a synopsis like this of the chapter. What did any topic in the chapter say? Okay, so just pick the chapter and see the chapter and make a synopsis of the chapter. Okay, this is the flow of the chapter. These are the things that they are saying. Right? Don't write sentences or anything, synopsis. Second, come to the class, attend the class, understand it. Then go back, pick your NCERT, try to revise and pick anything additional given in NCERT. In the class, we will be doing it thoroughly. Anything missed in the class, any fact missed in the class, right? Any term missed in the class, that you add to your notes. So now you have two notes. One, your synopsis of NCERT. Synopsis means making point-wise chapter flow. So that can be made in 1.5 page for the whole chapter. Okay. Second, that synopsis will always help you. Second, class flow. Class flow will help you understand the concepts. Third, go back, pick the chapter of NCERT, add anything additional in your notes, class note itself. So don't make a separate note of NCERT or GC Leong or India Yearbook. No. Make your class notes, in that only add. Okay, and if you have to add anything current also, add to your class notes itself. So that you will have everything at one place, class notes. Class notes with NCERT notes and GC Leong notes and current notes, everything in your class notes itself. So always keep some space in your class notes somewhere so that you can add things if you need. Okay? So that is about your note making. How do you make notes from NCERT? I would not recommend that you make a complete note of NCERT and have a class notebook also and a GC Leong notebook also and a India Yearbook notebook. That doesn't help. Just one notebook, you should revise it many number of times. In the beginning of the chapter, wherever we have done the topic, there itself paste the synopsis also. Make it on a A4 sheet, paste it in the class notes copy. Gradually your class note copy will become thicker and thicker and you will have synopsis of NCERT at one place and go on. Is this understood? Can I assume we get this? So note making is also done. Now the last part, which is it? The atlas. So how should you refer the atlas and map questions? Now the map questions in geography class that I would do, I generally do not do isolated dictation of maps. Because I consider it a very difficult way of remembering locations. If I just go on giving you 20 locations every day to remember or 30 locations every day to remember, it becomes difficult to remember. So I would recommend, first let me recommend you the book for your map, okay, or atlas. Map work, the book is your atlas. You should have atlas, okay. Which atlas? You can buy any student, but do buy a hard copy, student or school atlas, student edition or school edition. There are two editions, you can buy any. Okay, of which one? You can buy Oxford, I find it very good, right? Or you can find DK or Orient. Okay, all these are good. Eschand, all these are good atlases. Any of these atlases you can buy. Okay, the only thing that you should look for in the atlas is when you open the atlas, you should find it comfortable to look at. That will vary from student to student. Some people like very detailed maps, good. Some people like less written maps, good. So from person to person, whichever you feel which you like the most, right? You pick that atlas. Okay. Only thing you should look for is that any of these atlases should have what all? World, continents, every continent separately, physical and political map. They call it as political map. They don't call it as human map. Physical and political maps. And India also state-wise. State-wise, they should have physical, and many times in the physical itself they also put the political. Physical and political map. Okay. So your atlas should have the world, physical and political, and India physical and political map. Now what is a physical map and what is a political map? Let us try to see that. That's the last part that we'll do today, and then I'll leave you for the day. and next class we'll catch up from here. So when we see the physical and political maps, your atlas would, for example, look like this, and in your atlas you will have two types of maps. One map will be like this, right? See here, one of the maps will be like this, where different countries are given, right? Different countries are given. You can see in this map. This map where countries are given is called as political map. Why? Because country is a political formation. It's not a geographical formation, right? So wherever the countries are given, right, that's a political map. Okay. See here, Canada, USA, all the boundaries, etc. are given. That is a political map. Whereas the other map is a physical map, this kind, where the mountains, rivers, plains, plateaus are given. That is a physical map, where the physical locations are given. Okay, so I hope you understand the world physical and world political. Okay, and then similarly, when you go beyond, next, which other map thing that you find or you want? The next thing that you want in your map is India. For example, see here, India. This gives you India physical. Okay, India physical. They are giving you different rivers, plateaus, plains, etc. And this is India political, where they have given you different states and their capitals and their cities, etc. and towns they are given. This is political. Now, when you see this map of Eschan, for example, you find here that they have given you different state maps also. Okay, different states. So they have given you one for Andhra, then they have given you Andaman Nicobar, they have given you the northeastern states. Okay, they have given you within northeastern states, they have divided further. Then they have given you the other ones such as Bihar, right? Different maps are given for different states. Chhattisgarh, right? So different maps are given. So this kind of a map you want, where the world physical and India physical, world continent wise and India state wise is given. Once you get this, that's it. This is your buying the map. Then after buying the map, what should you do? Next thing. Whenever we do anything in the class itself, I'll show you all the mountains, I'll show you most of the plateaus, I'll show you plains, right? I'll be discussing how they are formed and then where they are. Okay. So how will we go? We'll do the concept, where are the mountains, plateaus, and where they are. Where are the rivers, or what is the river, how, and then we'll see the rivers in the world. Okay. We'll see the lakes, rivers, mountains, volcanoes, everything we'll see in the class, and there itself we'll first understand the concept, then we'll see them. So this is how I find it easier to remember. Okay, so this is one way of doing it in the class. The second is, every day I would expect you, when you're doing geography, 15 to 20 minutes. This is a 15 to 20 minute exercise. What? See here. For example, pick your atlas, start with India and world, one day India, one day world. What? For example, this is the Asia physical map. Okay. So open the Asia physical map, start from one corner, for example, this region, and try to see which are the mountains, rivers, lakes, seas in this. Right? So Red Sea, okay, Red Sea, Persian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, Mediterranean Sea, Cyprus, Lebanon Mountain, Anatolia Peninsula, Taurus Mountain, Euphrates River, Tigris River. So just see this part of the map. Okay, spend 15-20 minutes, one day on Asia, Asia physical. Then next day, come to the other part of Asia. Okay, don't spend too much time. 15-20 minutes, after that your memory becomes, your factual memory becomes very hazy. 15-20 minutes, interest can be kept. Then next day, maybe you take the northern parts. Then what do? Okay, so where do I have some of these, Gulf of Ob, which are the major rivers. So you can see some of the major rivers which are given, Yenisei, Lena, okay, peninsulas such as Kamchatka Peninsula, the important ones, not all, right, like Lake Baikal. Okay, so the bigger ones, not very small things, bigger things. Just try to remember bigger, and bigger are written in big letters. Tundra, Siberian Plateau, can you see? So the things which are written in bigger letters, not very small ones, those you don't need. So this is how you pick. Look in your atlas. Okay, one by one. Same ways. For example, next time when you go to, let's say, the map of political map. Okay, so when you are looking in your political map, for example, I'll just take Africa. Okay, see this. So when you take Africa's political map, okay, so one day you should look only at the northern parts of Africa. Okay, northern parts. So northern parts, which are the countries? So you have Egypt, Libya, Algiers, Morocco. Broadly, you don't have to remember them perfectly. Small ones you don't have to. Okay, then okay, Mediterranean Sea. So these are touching Mediterranean Sea. Okay, some of the cities, major, the ones which are in news, those you can remember. Don't try to memorize the whole atlas. It will never happen. You don't need to. Now, which places you must remember? Must. Now, I'll tell you this last thing, and after that the topics for tomorrow and then. Which places must remember? The ones given in NCERT, okay, or current affairs. NCERT and current affairs, right? Or when you read GC Leong, the ones given in GC Leong, those are the places that you should remember. That's it. If you are able to remember this one, NCERT, GC Leong, major ones, not all, major ones, and current affairs, major ones. If you are able to remember this, that is good enough. And the broad review of atlas. So you will have in all 30-40 pages on your atlas. Spend 20 minutes, one page, one day. In 40 days, your atlas will broadly be page-wise be done. Or maybe 50 days, 1.5 months, 2 months, that's fine. Right? So that's how you proceed with your atlas. This is the best way. And then you revise. Okay? And in the class also we'll be doing. So that's how you proceed with your atlas work. Okay? And as the class progresses, you will broadly also understand further how do you go with your atlas. So that's it. This is your whole thing. How do you prepare in terms of what kind of sequence we'll be following and all this in the class. Right? So for next topic for the day, which sources I would read, right? Sources, so I would tell you what to read. Class 6th, chapter 1, right? That solar system thing, and latitude, longitude thing, and movements. Okay. So 3 chapters, you can try to read it fast, or GC Leong, chapter 1. Some data is old in that, so leave that. Data you can leave, but you can broadly understand what it is giving. And if not, these 2, then handout, vision, IAS, handout, geography, handout, not handout, printed notes, sorry. Printed notes given, already printed notes are given to you. Printed notes 1, the first part or first chapter of that, where you have the solar system and all this. You can read from any one source, you can read this and be present in tomorrow's class. We'll take up from here in tomorrow's class. So this is where we end today with a broad understanding of the whole thing. Next class we start from here and we go from here. Alright, that's it. Thank you. And I believe, Divyansha, there are no major doubts. So we can continue from here in the next class. Alright, thank you.